Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome this morning to a new video on XRP. We're going to do a full update right here. We'll talk a little bit about yesterday evening, for those of you who don't mind, or at least I hope all of you don't mind. Yesterday evening, of course, we had the Federal Reserve interest rate decision and the press conference afterwards. That was slightly bearish. We'll talk about that briefly, then we'll talk about the technicals. So far, if you watched my videos throughout the last couple of days, all of the price action we've seen so far has been fully accounted for, all right? And this was also expected. I told you yesterday, I think it's likely we're going to spike down into some of those imbalances we left over the course of the weekend. And then from there, I think we can challenge 2.75 and 2.8. However, and this has to do with yesterday evening, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that, but my bias and my thoughts on XRP have changed a little bit more towards the bearish side of things. I'm not bearish on XRP, but I think there's a chance that we just get back into the same consolidation, which is outlined by these blue lines right here between 2.6 and 2.3. And that's also technically what we broke back into. As you can see right here, that blue line, which is the value area high. We held that as support during the breakout or after the breakout that we had from Sunday into Monday. We have dropped down below that right now, and it's not completely over, but purely technically it looks a little bit more likely that we're going to push back lower into 2.41. And then maybe from 2.41 we have a better chance to get a strong reaction, set up some sort of a lower time frame bullish structure again to reclaim 2.6 and still rally into 2.75 and 2.8. Let's say 2.8. 2.8 is very much the key zone. But the reason why I think that's a little bit more likely right now is the fundamentals, all right? Because yesterday, of course, we had the interest rate decision, which was cut by 25 base points. That's normal. That's bullish. Ultimately, but that was completely priced in as well. So that doesn't change anything. And ultimately, everything that was said during the press conference made it so that the probability of another rate cut in December, which again would be bullish, decreased by quite a large margin. I think a couple of days ago, this percentage of another 25 base points cut was at over 90%. And right now it has dropped down to 70%. And he also said, Jerome Powell, he said it depends a lot on if we get some economic data. And obviously right now the US government shutdown is still going on. So can we expect that? Who knows? But that's a bearish development. All right, so the fundamentals around the markets are bearish. And then technically you can see that we got a pretty good reaction at some of those imbalances. But ultimately we were unable to stay above the level that matters most, 2.6. Yeah, so this is what I said yesterday. And you can see like initially those moves, these moves that we had are good. But then from here we would have to reclaim 2.6. And I don't think that's most likely. I mean, I have to say, I'll have to turn back a little bit. I would say, talking about XRP right now, if we are able to reclaim 2.6 today with volume, then first of all, I was wrong, all right, because I'm being a little bit conservative here. I'm being a little bit cautious. But then we can still test 2.8, right? So it's not completely impossible anymore. But I thought yesterday morning we had like the highest likelihood, so about a 70 to 80% chance we would do this. I think right now, still continuing that scenario has like a 30 to 25% probability. And I think it's a little bit more likely that we will reclaim back into the range and that we'll test 2.41, find strong support there, and then test 2.6 again. So it's always, I mean, in analysis and in trading, it's always probability work, right? At least I believe. And I think this has the highest probability. So I think that's what I have to tell you. That's what I then have to tell you. And I think it's also better to assume, like when you're trading XRP, I think it's better to assume that this is going to happen. And then when we actually are able to reclaim 2.6, switch bias and act upon that. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know regarding XRP right now. There's no major Ripple ETF news, I think, that we need to discuss. So if there is, I'll let you know. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a great Thursday. Take care and bye.